You sit in the front.
Walk around the mall. What was the nugget? Yeah. Right. Is there
ministry sort of speak?
I see it, but I don't see the content, so you want me to put the chapter in there?
Definitely.
Right.
Testing.
I noticed a few things even in the reading more verses, key fundamental things that spoke to me that I wasn't talking about.
I was waiting for him to set up this.
Oh, yeah.
And I was going to say,
Okay, if you all see it, I don't see it on my phone. So I don't know. Well, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Getting ready for a brand new one.
That's right.
So we need to let go. That's number one. So let's let go of 2016.
Oh, yeah.
Can you just let go? And so just take a breath and take a minute to just pull out. We're going to listen to Ricky Byers, Beckwith, and pay particular attention to the lyrics in this song. To leap into what is real.
Yes.
Let go of your will.
I am alive within you. It's time to be free.
It's time to be free.
I feel like letting go. Let go.
Let go.
Let go.
Let God.
Let go.
I feel like letting go.
Feel like letting go.
Let go. Let God.
Let go. If I can let go,
If you can let go,
heaven's at hand
heaven is at hand
right now.
right now.
New life is awaiting.
New life is awaiting
I'm rearranging.
while you are rearranging those old facts of yours.
But I'm tired of holding on.
Tired of holding on.
Heart is making an
My heart is making an authentic appeal.
It's such a sweet invitation.
It's a sweet invitation, a mandate of ecstasy. Don't hold back any longer. Drop your tools and follow me.
It's time to release.
It's time to release. What? Feel like letting go.
Feel like letting go. Let go. Let go. Let go.
I feel like letting go.
Feel like letting go. Let go.
Let go.
Let go.
Let go.
Let go.
What?
Feel like letting go.
Feel like letting go. let go. Pray to let go, pray to let go, pray to let go, pray to let go, pray to let go. Pray to let go, pray to let go, pray to let go, pray to let go. So silently within yourself, I bless and release the past. I bless and release the past. I bless and release the past.
Yeah.
So, bless and release the past. It's over, can't touch you. The past is over, can't touch you. And if you're here for the Course in Miracles for the first time, the only guidelines to the Course in Miracles is that you need not believe the ideas. You need not welcome the ideas. You need not accept the ideas. Some of it's going to be hard to believe. Some of it's going to be hard to believe. Some of it's going to be startling. You're not really being asked to judge the ideas at all. If you use it, you will see that it is true. The ideas will give the ideas meaning to you and will show you that they are true. I want to acknowledge you, first of all, for being able to get up after last night and come in today. You know, I don't know, for me, the beginning of the year, it's always posing the question of, am I really going to do it differently, or am I just going to come up with the same thing in a different flavor, in a different form? Am I really going to have a new beginning? Am I really going to create the new? So the section I'm going to cover in the Course in Miracles is called The New Beginning.
Yeah.
It's in chapter 30. It's in the introduction. It's called The New Beginning. I'm going to go through a paragraph, and then I'm going to throw it open for questions and comments, and then I'm going to go to the next one. And I'm going to throw it open to questions and comments. It's on page in the 625, page 625 in the Course in Miracles, the Foundation for Inner Peace version of it. It's called The New Beginning, the Introduction. Are you willing to make a new beginning?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
So the focus of the curriculum right now is going to be a new beginning. The focus we're going to have today is going to be a new beginning. That's what we're going to focus in on. The goal is clear. You want peace. You want love. You want joy. Is that the goal?
Yes.
The problem is we come up with what we think is going to present that to us. And then we assign scripts and roles to everyone in our experience that they're supposed to act out to help achieve that goal. I come up with what I want that I think is going to make me happy. Then I assign everybody I know roles that they're supposed to play in making that happen. I come up with what I think is going to make me happy, and then I assign roles and scripts to everyone I know that they're supposed to do to bring that about. And the goal is clear. The goal is love. The goal is freedom. And there are specific means that we need to attain the goal. How fast you reach your goal depends on only one thing: your willingness to practice every step. So how fast you reach your goal is dependent on how willing you are to practice the steps to achieving your goal. Setting the goal is great. But in order to achieve the goal, do you know you have to have a willingness to take the steps that are necessary to achieve the goal?
Willingness. Yes.
Right.
And your ability to achieve the goal depends on just one thing: your willingness to practice every step. Now, each step is going to help a little every time you attempt it. Every time you attempt, each step is going to help a little. And the Course says, together these steps will lead you out of dreams of judgment. The Course in Miracles says that you are having a judgment dream. You are experiencing the life that a person leads that judges. If you are experiencing a life that's less than peaceful and loving, you are getting a direct experience of the life that a person experiences who judges. So that means that you follow these steps, we follow these steps, and it leads us out of pain. If we follow these steps, it will lead us out of fear and will lead, the steps Picture this. The steps will lead you out of fear. So picture me as a step, and I'm grabbing your hand, and I'm leading you out of the room. So the steps lead you out. You don't really ultimately lead you out. It's the steps that lead you out. And so the Course then says that these steps are really not new to you, but these steps are just more ideas now than rules of thought to you as yet. A rule of thought is a habit. A habit is a thought that's ruling you. So whatever your habit is, it's a rule of thought that you're living by. Whatever your habits are, they're just rules of thinking that you are living by. And so we seek to make these new rules of thought habits now, so that whenever you need this new way of thinking, it will be ready for you for every need that you have.
Awesome.
Now, that starts with him making rules for decision. So now I'm going to give you, according to A Course in Miracles, the rules for making choices. These are the rules for making decisions. You that's watching online, Happy New Year. Sending you our love. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being a part of this class. Feel free to make comments, to ask questions. You're definitely welcome. You are part of this gathering, even if your body isn't in the room, you're in the class. And I'm glad that you're checking it out. So you ready for the rules for making right choices? Okay, first of all, you need to understand that you're continually making decisions. And you don't always know when you're making decisions. You're making decisions all the time, and you don't always know when you're making decisions. But with a little practice with the decisions that you recognize, if you start practicing with the decisions that you recognize, a set will begin to form that will see you through the rest of your decisions. It's not wise to let yourself become preoccupied. It's not wise to let yourself become preoccupied with every step you take. So becoming preoccupied with every step you take is not wise. But if you will start off with the proper set at the very beginning, if you start doing it right from the very beginning, every time you wake up, it's going to put you well ahead. So if I start the day out making right choices from the very beginning and doing the rules of thought from the very beginning, that's going to allow me to have the peace and love and happiness that I want, does that not put me well ahead? Yeah. If I start out making the right decision. So it says here, the proper set adopted how? Consciously each time you wake is what will put you well ahead. So I've got to get up and consciously decide to be conscious and to make right choices and right decisions today. It's not, I'm just going to get up and start my day and hope it goes right. I've got to get up in the morning, consciously adapt the perspectives that's going to give me the kind of day that I want to have. And if you find that your resistance is strong, you got really strong resistance. How can you tell if you have really strong resistance? You'll have weak dedication.
Yes.
If your dedication is weak, if you're saying you want to do it and you don't do it, your dedication is weak, that means your resistance is strong, and that means you're not ready.
Yeah.
So how can I tell if I'm not ready?
My resistance is strong.
My resistance is strong, which means my dedication is weak. So if I say that I want something and I have strong resistance, which means I have no dedication, I'm not ready.
That's right.
You're not ready. You're not ready. If your resistance is strong, your dedication is weak, you're not ready, but it doesn't mean you're bad. It doesn't mean you're guilty. It doesn't mean you're not loved. It doesn't mean you're still not an incredible, spiritual, priceless treasure. It just means you're not ready. So whatever it is you say you want, that you find you're always talking it, but you're not consciously doing anything to achieve it, it only means your dedication is weak. And your resistance is strong, so you're not ready to do it. Don't fight yourself. Don't fight yourself. I was listening to a person the other day, and they were talking about this. They thought they had to break up in a relationship with somebody they was with because they felt like they weren't really growing and they weren't in the same place, and they were totally unhappy, and they was crying and they were miserable because they didn't want to end the relationship. They didn't want to end the relationship even though they felt like it wasn't really for their own best interest. They didn't want to let them go, and they were trying to figure out how they could let the person go, and they were just, it's such sadness, and they were so distraught. And don't let the relationship go.
Yeah.
You're not ready. You're not ready to let that relationship go, and you're not ready to let that person go. Don't.
Yeah.
Then what? You think you would be going through all this anguish and all this pain and all this resistance and freaking out if you were really ready to give it up and you really thought it was for your own best interest to give it up? No, you don't. You're not ready to give it up, so stop fighting yourself. You're not ready yet. Okay? The Course in Miracles says one of the things you must realize is there's no sacrifice in this path. Keep what you do want, give away what you don't. So if you want to keep it, keep it. If you're ready to let it go, let it go. If you want to keep it, keep it. If you're not ready to let it go, let it go. So most people punish themselves constantly by pretending they're ready to let go of something they're not ready to let go of, and then they have all this anguish and this self-punishment and attack on themselves, when the answer is very simple. You're not ready to let it go yet.
That's right.
When you're ready to let it go, you let it go. When you're not ready to let it go, keep it. See, then people freak out. You're giving me permission, but you're not ready to let it go. Keep it. Stop feeling bad about it. You know you can let it go. So don't fight yourself is what I'm talking about. So this is what you do. You think about the kind of day you want. You think about the kind of day you want, and then you tell yourself there's a way in which this very day can happen just like that. Think about the kind of day you want, and then tell yourself there's a way for that to happen. Tell yourself the kind of day you want. Now here's the catch. It's not really a catch. It's really what makes it easy. When you tell yourself the kind of day you want, there are only two kinds of days to have. A day full of joy or a day full of not full of joy. A day full of love or a day when you're full of challenges, fear, and upset. So tell yourself, first of all, the kind of day you want. Well, I want a happy day. I want a joyful day. I want a peaceful day. I want a loving day. I want a free day. I want a secure day. I want a day of light and joy and peace. That's the kind of day I want.
Me too. Me too.
The things that you make up that you should do that day, those are just the things that you think are going to bring you the kind of day you want. So what you really want is what you think the thing you're asking for is going to bring to you. If you say you want a relationship, it's because there's a part of you that wants companionship. If you call it Uber, you're calling it because you want transportation. So what you're really asking for is whatever you think the thing you're asking for is going to bring you. And ultimately, what you think the thing is going to bring you is some form of satisfaction.
Yeah.
So ask for satisfaction. That's too simple. First of all, by asking for satisfaction, I'm asking for what I know I want. By me trying to think of what's going to bring me satisfaction, I'm going into confusion because I don't really know exactly what's going to bring me total satisfaction.
Yeah.
So you're tricking yourself every time you focus on the form of what you want. What you should ask for is to what you think the thing that you're asking for is going to give you. I'm giving you answers. These are answers. And the Course says, then try to have the kind of day you want. Tell yourself what you want to happen to you. Tell yourself the way you want this very day to happen. Tell yourself it can happen just like that. And again, tell yourself the kind of day you want. Now, this is the way the outlook starts. This is the way the outlook starts. You say, today I will make no decisions by myself. Today I will make no decisions by myself. Today I will make no decisions by myself. Today I will make no decisions. See why this is really, really appropriate for New Year's. Today I will make no decisions by myself. This year I will make no decisions by myself. This year I will make no decisions by myself. Now, what does that mean? What does it mean to make no decisions by yourself? It means you're not going to choose to be the judge of what to do. If you don't make any decisions by yourself, you're choosing not to be the judge of what to do. But that also means you won't judge the situations that you're called upon to make response. If you judge the situations that you're called upon to make response, if you judge the situations that you're called upon to make response, then you're going to set the rules for how you should react. If I'm the one that's coming up with what I think is supposed to happen to me, then I'm also going to be the one that starts to judge my response. I'm judging my response. I won't judge the situations where, in other words, something's going on in my life right now. I'm dealing with a situation right now. I'm not going to judge by myself, without my truth, without my guidance, without spirit, how I should respond to this situation. I'm not going to judge it from my fear. I'm not going to judge the situation from the part of me that's afraid and upset and don't know what is going on. I'm going to stop letting the part of me that's most angry and upset be the one that's judging how I should respond to a situation. So when you're most upset and afraid is when you least should follow your guidance. When you're most upset, it's the dumbest time in the world to make a decision. But that's when most people make decisions, is when they're most upset. And they think that because they're angry, they're right. Just the feeling of being angry convinces people they must be correct because you wouldn't be upset about nothing.
Wow.
And the Course in Miracles is saying that's exactly what you're upset about. It's nothing. Okay. Now, so it says that the ones you've made up your mind for about how you should react, and when you get another answer from Spirit, it's going to produce confusion, uncertainty, and fear. If I made up my mind how I think I should respond in this situation, and I get another answer from the universe that's opposite from what I've already decided should happen, then I'm going to be confused, and I'm going to feel afraid, and I'm going to feel uncertain.
Yes.
So I'll say it again. If you make up your mind, if you judge a situation from your own ego, from the part of you that's afraid, that's separate, that's not checking in with your inner guidance, then when you get a real answer from your inner guidance, it's going to produce confusion and doubt and fear because you're hearing something opposite from what you made up your mind the situation and the answer is. Is everybody with me on that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So if I make up my mind what's going on and I get another answer that's different from what I made up my mind it should be, then I get confused and upset. You know. So if, for instance, if you ask me a question, I answer that question. And you've already got in your mind the way you think I should have answered you, you're going to go immediately into a yes, but I feel confused. And what are you talking about? I don't know what's going on. That's because you didn't ask the answer from the perspective that you didn't know what the answer was. You asked the question from the perspective that you already had an idea what the answer was. And I didn't say what you expected or wanted me to tell you. And then you go, ooh, I don't know about that. Well, you didn't really ask an honest question. You already had an idea about what you thought should be going on. You just wanted me to agree with you. It's not the same as asking for an answer. It's just restating your point of view and wanting somebody to go along with it. And for adults, that goes for a question. I know my happiness is something in the refrigerator that I'm getting ready to eat. So I've already answered my question when I ask it. I've already decided where I'm going to go to fulfill myself, the food in the refrigerator. So what food in the refrigerator is going to give me satisfaction is the question I'm asking. But that means I've already decided where my satisfaction is. It's in the food in the refrigerator. So it's not really a question. It's just among the things in the refrigerator, which should I eat? That's what I'm really asking. But I've already decided the answer is the food in the refrigerator. Suppose the answer is not in the refrigerator at all. Suppose what would give you satisfaction is not in the refrigerator at all. Well, you won't hear that answer because you've already decided in your question that the problem is you need to decide what's in the refrigerator to eat that's going to make you happy.
Cake.
So if you have an idea in your mind, when you ask a question, it's not an honest question. An honest question is asking for something you don't know.
Yeah.
An honest question. So the Course in Miracles is saying when God gives you an answer other than the one you've made up, when Spirit gives us an answer other than the one we've made up, we go into confusion, uncertainty, and despair. He says, that's your major problem now. What kind of problem? Your major problem. What is your major problem? Well, your major problem is you still make up your mind and then decide to ask God what to do.
Yeah. That's a major problem.
Yeah, your major problem is you make up your mind and then you decide to ask what you should do. I'm asking what I should do after I make up my mind. I made up my mind that being with you is going to make me happy. And then I'm asking God what to do to get you. See, I've already made up my mind what's going to make me happy. Now I'm going to God to ask how do I get the thing I've made up to make me happy. I didn't ask God, what is it that would make me happy? Spirit, what is it that would make me happy? Universe, you created me, universe. What is it that would really and truly make me happy? Whatever created the cow also created the grass that nurtures the cow. The cow and the grass came at the same time. So whatever created you at the exact same time created everything that would nurture and satisfy you. It was all created at the same time. But notice the cow didn't create the grass.
That's right.
The cow and the grass were both created at the same time. So what will satisfy us is not something we make up any more than the cow could make up what's going to satisfy it. What's going to satisfy it was already created when it was created. What you want to do is make the cow aware it needs to eat some grass. And convincing people to use grass is not hard in Colorado. So, there's a lot of cows in this city. There's a lot of cows in Denver, Colorado. This is making sense to you all.
Yeah.
So what will really make you happy, you don't really know. And since you didn't create yourself, what would really give you fulfillment, you can't create. All we're doing is making up our minds about how we're going to see things that's already happened. You're sitting here deciding how you want to react to what I'm saying. I'm already here talking. You're just reacting to what's already occurred. So you're really just seeing the past. I'm already here. So it's already happened. I'm here. Now you're deciding how you want to react to it. Whether you want to react to me in a way that gives you peace or whether you want to react to me in a way that gives you conflict. That's all we're doing all day. We're reacting to what we've already created. Okay, so that's our major problem. What's our major problem? We still make up our mind and then decide to ask what to do. And then what you hear may not resolve the problem as you saw it first. Notice it's saying the same thing it said in the other paragraph, it's just saying it another way. That's why when you're reading A Course in Miracles, you don't have to keep going back to review what you're reading to make sure you understand what it's saying, because all the book does is keep restating the truth in as many different ways as possible, hoping that you'll hear one of the ways the truth is trying to reach you. So if you hear something in the book and you don't get it, it says don't spend time trying to understand that part that you didn't get, because it emphasizes your feeling of helplessness. Go on, and I'll tell you another way that you might go, oh, I got it. And it would be the exact same thing, the exact same conclusion that you were trying to come to with the thing you didn't understand. Okay. So every time you stop when you're studying the Course in Miracles and you analyzing it and you're trying to figure out what a paragraph or sentence says, it's a delaying maneuver to keep you from getting the answer. Your analyzation is a delaying maneuver to keep you from receiving what you want. It's a trick. Because if I can give you the same answer from another point of view that you can hear, why should you waste time focusing on what you don't understand? Unless you don't want to do it. All right, so somebody that doesn't really want what they're asking for will always spend all their time trying to analyze it. So the Course then says what you hear may not resolve the problem as you saw the problem at first. And since what Spirit is telling you doesn't resolve the problem as you saw it at first, this leads to fear. Because what you're hearing is contradicting what you perceive, and so you feel attacked. Did you just notice I just said the same thing again, but another way? So there are rules by which this won't happen. There are rules by which you won't be getting angry. There are rules by which you won't be led into fear. There are rules by which you will not go into uncertainty and doubt. Do you know there are rules that will keep you from being uncertain and afraid and in doubt? Okay, so now this is a very important statement, but your being confused and angry does happen at first. You're going to get angry at first. You're going to get angry at first. You're not going to like what you're hearing at first. If you hear an answer different from the way you've made it up to be from Spirit, it's going to make you mad and feel uncertain at first. It's going to happen at first. So stop, don't beat yourself up if you find that you've already made up your mind and you're hearing something different and it's not what you expected to hear, so you get upset. Truth just told us you're going to get upset at first. So the next time you get upset, don't make it such a big deal because you were told you're going to get upset at first. Woo! While you're learning how to hear God, while you're learning how to hear your guidance, you're going to get angry and upset and confused and uncertain at first. So don't freak out because you don't feel great when you first start trying to practice the truth in your life. You're not going to feel great at first when you're trying to change the way you're looking at things and make it exactly opposite from the way you've been doing it. So Spirit says to us, don't sweat it. You're going to get mad at first. You're going to get upset at first. You're going to get confused at first. You're going to feel afraid at first when truth gives you an answer opposite of what you've made up because you've decided what's going to make you feel good today. Told us straight up. And so what do we do as Course students? true students, we spend all our time tripping because we're getting upset. And he's saying, you're going to get upset. It's almost like you get ready to tell somebody something, you say, well, I'm going to tell you now, you're probably going to get upset, right? I just wrecked your car, right? And I remember the night before I graduated from high school, I drove my brother's brand new car through a house and knocked somebody out the bed. But I tell you, I wasn't happy at my high school graduation, as most people in the room were. But someone ran a red light, ran into me, it jammed my accelerator, and my car went straight through a house. And so my brother was in New Orleans, partying, having a good time. He had just got the car, loving me, said I could use his brand new car. And there his car was with bricks on top of it, you know what I'm saying? So I wasn't a happy camper.
Oh, no.
Right? So the truth is, what happened in that situation was when I told my brother about it, and my brother found out about it, he didn't get angry with me. He never brought it up again, and he never made me feel bad about it. Oh, my brother was off the chain. I love my brother.
Wow.
We used to say we were best friends who just happened to be brothers. So his transition was it was one of those times that I really was glad I studied the Course in Miracles and things that taught me that we were not our bodies and we have eternal life and we're beyond this illusion. And so now I can appreciate the love he was showing me in a way I couldn't appreciate it then because I was feeling so guilty about what was happening that I didn't even see the love he was giving me and probably felt that I deserved attack. So part of me probably thought I deserved attack. So what the Course in Miracles is getting us to understand is that we are loved more than we have imagined that we are, and we tend to think that other people don't have the capacity to love us beyond how we love. So when someone's loving you more than you love yourself, it's a tendency for you not to believe them. If I'm treating you nicer than you think you deserve to be treated, you're going to probably think I'm a con artist.
Yeah.
And what is it I'm trying to get? So I'm telling you, we are loved more than we can conceive of. And you can receive the love that you truly deserve that you don't think you deserve.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm really grateful that my being loved has nothing to do with people.
Yeah.
It'd take much too long. If my being loved was dependent on getting all of you to like me and approve of what I do, that's too slow. If you don't even love yourself yet, how in the heck are you going to love me? And you're working on loving yourself, and I'm working on loving myself, so I don't even expect you to love me more than you love you. So I'm not going to get agreements against you because I don't have any expectations of your love.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to get mad at you. I'm not expecting you to love me anyway. I'm grateful if you do, but I know you're working on the same curriculum I am. You're trying to let go of your anger, guilt, grievances, and things you've learned about yourself from the past. You know, you all got your issues. So since you're full of issues and I'm full of issues, why should I be expecting you to give me more love than I'm giving myself? But God does. The Creator does. That which loves us does. So there's a love greater than the love you have for yourself. And what the truth is telling us is that there's a way to have that love, but if I tell you how to have that love and it's different from the way you've made up you should receive love, then you're going to have opposition and resistance to it. Right. And you're going to fight it. Okay, so boom. Any questions or comments or ahas about what I just got to share? Yes, Don.
I love not making a decision today. I will make no decisions for myself because I've recently put myself in this position where I thought I had to make decisions. And when you let this happen, it is just so gorgeous. It's just so beautiful. Like today, I got a sign, and the sign came in the way I felt rather than anything that I could ever think of.
The sign came in the way you felt.
Yeah.
More so than the way that you would think of anything. Awesome.
So I felt at peace, and I knew that I was getting guidance from Holy Spirit.
And we always getting guidance, but the Course says we have to learn how to tell the difference between when we're listening to the voice from our higher self and when we're listening to the voice that we're making up and projecting on our higher self. It wasn't God that told you to quit that job. You told yourself to quit that job, and then you said God told you to do it.
Yeah.
Because you wanted to quit your job.
Yeah.
It wasn't really, how do you know? Because you're struggling your butt off, you're scared it to death, you don't know how your bill's going to be paid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Emma Rose tags right onto that and said the difficulty is how do we clearly discern guidance when our minds are full of attack thoughts, which is made worse by our intention to not listen to those attack thoughts anymore.
One of the easiest ways is not to follow any guidance you're giving yourself when you're full of anger and attack.
Yeah.
To, as soon as you try to get to a state of peace as soon as you can, and then see what comes to you from a state of peace. It's not. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Should we make everything more complicated than it is? If I'm in conflict, anger, and fear, then I shouldn't move forward until I give myself some level of inner peace.
Right.
But notice that when people have conflict and anger and fear, it's when they want guidance the most and to be told what to do. And what the guidance says is don't do anything, calm down, go within, allow. Because I'm going to tell you something. I bet you anything, you all are not dealing with life and death situations all day. That 99% of anything that you're troubled about, you can give yourself a moment to try to pause for inspiration and how to handle it. So I don't care what you think you're going through, you can take 5 minutes to go, let me just breathe for a minute and ask for another way to look at it. So don't make this more complicated than it is. Yeah.
You had said, not to make a major decision when you're in doubt about it. Now,
if at all possible. Yeah, most of us don't have life and death. 10 seconds, I got to make a decision else my whole life is going to crash.
Okay.
I don't believe that.
So in my life, I made a major decision that I wasn't totally comfortable about, and then left me with lots of regret. But then there was some reason why I felt I had to do it. It was like make a major move, change everything. So, of course, listening to you, the first thing I went, well, there you are, you were wrong. And
you were.
So once if you do something like that, then what is the best way to handle
what we're studying today? What we're studying today, I will make no decisions by myself. Do you know why we have the Course in Miracles book?
Yeah.
The reason why you have the Course in Miracles book is so that it can teach you how to tell the difference between when you're making a decision that's coming from your ego and when you're making a decision that's coming from God. Why is it? And so people are wanting to get the benefits of that without actually going through the curriculum to learn how to do it. That's what most questions are. How can I take you direct? How can you take me directly to the answer without me doing any of the steps? That's what basically the people are saying. Right. I want you to show me how I can have total peace every day without changing my mind. Tell me how I can stay exactly the way I am without going through the suffering it entails. Tell me how I can just do something right where I am, where I can have total and complete joy and total and complete. And then the truth tells us. Well, first of all, don't make any decisions by yourself. Second of all, realize that you need to consciously, when you get up in the morning, say that you're going to adopt the right way of looking at things. The curriculum itself is teaching you the right way of looking at things. And so if I don't use the curriculum that I say is my curriculum, I'm not going to get the result that I'm looking for. So I'm acting like the answers are unavailable to me, but the answers are totally available to me. I'm just not studying, and I'm just not using what I'm being told. But I do want to get the results of what this book is teaching. And so I could tell you the answer. I could tell you every answer that this book says about how you can handle anything that you're going through. It will absolutely mean nothing to you until you've gone through the steps that it will take to change your mind. Right. So that's so important. That's why a spiritual path is so important. Because a spiritual path is giving you the curriculum that you need to have the happiness that you say you want. The problem with most people is that they want the result without ever doing the curriculum. So they want you to tell, and even if you tell them something that will work, if it's opposite to what they've trained themselves to believe, you're going to go through confusion, doubt, and uncertainty. And you're going to feel attacked because what I'm telling you is not the way you want to handle it. Then you got to also realize if your goal is to punish yourself, then you got to consciously disregard everything that would bring you joy. You've got to disobey every instruction that you're getting from spirit that would bring you happiness. So if it says, say to yourself, today I will make no decisions by myself, you won't remember to say that. Why? Because your curriculum is against your peace. So if your curriculum is against love and somebody's loving you, you're going to totally, completely move away from the person that's loving you, and you're going to go totally toward the person that's abusing you and misusing you.
Yes.
For no other reason other than they're helping you achieve your goal. What is your goal? To punish yourself because you don't think you deserve love. So why in the world would you be attracted to people who would acknowledge you and appreciate you when you don't want to feel good about yourself? So it's all about your goal. If your goal is not to love you and not to see you right, you're never going to be attracted to somebody that's not going to help you achieve your goal.
Right.
So you're always attracted to the people and situations that help you achieve your goal. The question is, what do you want? The question is, what is your freaking goal? Is your goal to suffer? Because we're taught that if you're a good person, you feel guilty and you suffer, and the more you suffer, the better you are. So therefore, most people who want to be good people, they create suffering for themselves more than the average person because they think suffering makes them a good person. And the Course in Miracles is saying, crap. You know, you're feeling guilty all day and beating yourself up all day about whatever it is you think you're doing is serving no useful purpose whatsoever, will never bring you the joy you're looking for. And personally, other people are not really caring because they're dealing with their own stuff. Right? So the Course in Miracles then says throughout the day, anytime you think of it, anytime you have a quiet moment for what? Reflection, do what? Tell yourself again the kind of day you want, and guess what? Tell yourself the feelings you want to have, tell yourself, and check this out, tell yourself the things you want to happen to you. So it's not saying that it's not okay for you to ask for the things that you want to ask to happen to you. It says tell yourself the things you want to happen to you. Tell yourself the things you want to experience. Tell yourself what you want to feel. But when you do that, turn around and say, if I make no decisions by myself, this is the day that will be given me. If I make no decisions through my ego, through my fear, through my unawareness, through my ignorance, through my anger, then I'll have the day of love and peace that I want. Now, these are two procedures that if you practice well, those two procedures, it will serve to let you be redirected out of fear. So what are the two procedures? Telling myself what I want, and then telling myself if I make no decisions by myself, it can happen. Telling myself what I want, telling myself with the guidance of the Holy Spirit, with the guidance of my higher power, with the guidance of my inner self, with the guidance of God, with the guidance of the universe, with the guidance of all that is, whatever name you need to use in order to tune into something greater than your own ego, and you can have the kind of day you want. But remember, the kind of day you want is a peaceful day. So when it says you can have the kind of day you want, what you really want is a peaceful, loving day. You can't have that kind of day. You will be directed without fear if you do that, because opposition won't first arise and become a problem in itself. There won't be any opposition in the first place if you go, I'm going to say to myself what I want, and then I'm going to say, if I don't make any decisions by myself, this is a day that will be given to me. And the Course says that there's still going to be times when you've already judged. So you're not going to do this all the time. There's going to be times that you've already judged what you think should happen. He says, now, when you get the answer, it will provoke attack. That's what it means by you get angry. And it says, unless you're going to get angry because you made up your mind, unless what? You straighten out your mind. How do you straighten out your mind? How do you straighten out your mind? How do you straighten out your mind? You want an answer that will work. Straightening out your mind is really wanting an answer that will work. If you want an answer that will work, you're straightening out your mind. If you want what will work, you're straightening out your mind. And be certain that you've already come up with your own answer. He says, be certain that this happened if you feel yourself unwilling to sit by and ask to have the answer given to you. So if I don't sit down and go, Holy Spirit, how should I see this? How should I perceive this? What do you want me to do? That's how I know I've already made up my mind without the Holy Spirit. How do I know I've already made up my mind without my higher power? Because I went ahead without ever stopping to ask. Yeah. So if you come up with something and you go straight out the door to do it, but you never had an intervening period where you say, Holy Spirit, should I really give this person my phone number? Because I've already decided you're the one I've been looking for, baby, so I'm not going to even stop and ask God if I should get your phone number. See, that's me making a decision on my own without spirit. And I've decided I want to talk to you. And so if that don't work out, then I'm upset. I want God to tell me how to get you, because I already decided you're going to be the woman that makes me happy. Mm-hmm. So I've already asked him this on this question because I've already decided who's going to give me the happiness in the first place without asking for guidance. This book has the audacity to act like we're supposed to be somehow tuned into a higher power. Isn't that ridiculous? I don't understand a spiritual book talking about God.
Weird.
Isn't that weird? I don't think I'm going to come back. Because I came to this class so you can tell me how to handle things better on my own, the way I've already been trying to handle everything that hasn't satisfied me yet. But you're just supposed to tell me how to do it better. Right? So if you're not willing to ask the Holy Spirit what to do, he says it means you've decided by yourself. So you can't see the question of asking the Holy Spirit what to do. So you need a quick restorative before you can ask again. So what do? You remember once again what you want. All of these classes are recorded. This is being videoed and it's live and it's going to be posted on Facebook, and all this stuff that I'm saying is in the book. So you actually could hear this again.
And again.
And again. And again.
Oh, yeah.
And again. Because the way you think now came from repetition.
Yeah.
Everything you're telling me you believe came from repetition. So what do you think has got to happen for the new way to start working in your life? Repetition. So that's why I listen to this over and over again. That's why I've been studying this over and over and over again for years and years and years and years, because I'm going through mind training, because everything that happens to me is coming from my mind, so it makes sense to me that I need to have new thoughts in my mind and have a new reality. So I can't think about my same old thoughts and get a new result. And that's the challenge, is the mind doesn't want to change, but it wants a new reality. So it uses its mind, so the mind uses itself to come up with who and what needs to change other than itself. So I'm coming up with everybody and everything that needs to change but me. I'm using my mind to come up with everybody who needs to make me happy but me. So that's the Course in Miracles said that's how most people use their mind. They use their mind to come up with how somebody else needs to be different. Right. That's what they do. They sit around and think, well, if my mama just called me on my birthday, then I would really feel fulfilled. See, I'm using my mind to come up with how my mama needs to change. I'm not using my mind to come up with, I want to achieve a level of consciousness that I could give less than a damn if my mother called me on my birthday. I would still feel great. See, that's what the smart mind is doing. It's saying, how can I change the way that I'm looking at things so that whatever someone is doing or not doing on the outer, it doesn't affect my centeredness and my peace. It's what a conscious mind is trying to do. An unconscious mind is always using their mind to come up with who needs to change for them to be happy. So the Course in Miracles is saying that, first of all, if you find yourself getting upset again after you said you want peace, he says, remember once again the day you want. And then recognize that something has happened in that day that's not a part of what you wanted to have happen. Something's going on that I don't like. And then realize you must have asked a question by yourself and to yourself. Right? So you've set the answer in your own terms. That's why you're upset. You come up with an answer of what you think should happen. The universe isn't supporting that, and now you're upset. So he says, then say, I have no question. I have no question. I have no question. That's the truth. I didn't ask Holy Spirit, what should you do? Right. I came up with the idea of what I should do, and I went ahead and I did it, and I assigned roles to everybody around me. They didn't do it. I'm mad at them, and now I'm in therapy. Because they didn't do what I thought they should do in order to make me happy. So now I got to forgive you for not being slave to the rules I made up for you. So now I'm in forgiveness. You don't support me. You didn't ask me if I wanted to. You just assigned a role for me without even asking me if that was what I really wanted to do. So I should say what? I have no question. I forgot what to decide. If you say I have no questions, I forgot what I should have decided. That cancels out all the terms you set up, because you need a cancellation of your terms if you really want to be happy. And then unless the answer show you what the question must have really been, try to observe this rule when? Without delay. What does that mean? Despite your opposition, still say, I have no question, I forgot what to decide, I need to go back and tell myself what it is I really want to tell myself. If I make no decisions by myself, this is what's going to happen to me. I'm upset right now because I've already come up with my own idea and version of what should be happening for me to be happy. It's not happening the way I want it to, so now I'm angry and in despair. There's a way for me not to go through this, but I'm going to do this at first because I'm new to this, so I need not beat myself up because I'm doing it. Now, stand up now. I see some faces out there. All right. Oh God, I need to hear this.
No, me too.
Anybody else need to hear that? Oh God.
Thank you.
Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy?
Okay.
So we started about 10 minutes late because I was trying to get the Facebook Live going. So I might go about 10 minutes or so over. If you need to leave, that's perfectly okay. Those who stay are the ones who should. Okay. All right. And see how simple that was?
Yeah.
Those who stay are the ones who should, and those who have to go are the ones who have to go. Hello. It's too easy.
Yeah.
It's too easy. Who are the people that love me? The people that's coming toward me. Who are the people that don't? The people that's trying to get away from me and have a restraining order on me. Those are the ones that I shouldn't be seeking. Okay? I'm serious. I'm absolutely sure. I'm absolutely sure. It's like we make everything so freaking complicated. And of course, in Miracles says complexity is a smoke screen that has the simplicity of the truth. That people use complexity to hide how simple the issue really is. And, okay, so right now you're dealing with a complex issue and you don't know what to do. You're just trying to keep it.
That's right.
That's all you're trying to do. You're trying to keep what you're going through by acting like, oh, I've been going through this since I was a child. How am I going to make it? I don't know. There's no answer to this. It's the utmost of trying to make yourself special. Everybody, look at me. Everybody else is better than me. Everybody else is worse than me. Everybody else is better than me. Everybody is worse. I'm just trying to make myself special. That's all. I'm bored. So I'll create drama to make my life interesting. Oh, it's my problem. I don't know what I'm going to do. You know, I love it. I love it. So then we go a little bit further. Are you with me?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Okay. Now, notice as I go through this, that what he does in the next paragraph, what the Course in Miracles does in the next paragraph. It says, try to observe this rule without delay. What rule? Saying, I have no question, I forgot what to decide. He says, now you've already gotten angry. Your fear of being answered in a different way from your version of the question, that fear of being answered in a different way is going to gain momentum until you believe the day you want is one in which you get your answer to your question. And you will not get it. You will not get the answer to your question. Why? Because it will destroy the day by robbing you of what you want. Spirit saying, if I do it the way you want it done, it'll never happen. Exactly. If I follow your advice and if I follow the way you decide it should happen, you'll never have what you want. So I love you so much, I'm not going to even listen to your plan because your plan is made from such fear and unawareness that you're going to deny yourself what I want to give you.
Wow.
Your ideas about yourself are so pathetic and so limited that I'm not going to pay attention to any of your plans because your plans are too small for what you deserve to have.
Wow. Oh my God.
And that's why the Spirit deals with all of our desires. It's like, it's pitiful.
Yes.
You deserve a hell of a lot more than you're asking for. I love you too much to make your wishes come true. They're pitiful. They're pitiful wishes. The best you can do is a house.
Pitiful.
Is that the best you can come up with? Which can include a nice house. I'm not saying nothing's wrong with having a nice house. But that's the best you can do. Another mate, come on. Another mate is gonna do it. Oh, come on. It really is a dress and a pair of pants. Is that really gonna do it for you? So the Course is not putting us down. It keeps saying God's definition of little. I love this. It's God's definition of little is anything you ask for.
Yeah.
I said, what? He said, Spirit's definition, anything you ask for, that is the definition of little. Because you don't think big enough. You don't think big enough, so the universe doesn't pay any attention to you. Because it loves you. So the stuff that didn't happen that you prayed for was the best thing in the world that it didn't happen to you. That person you wanted that went, get back. Rejection is protection. Rejection is protection. Rejection is protection. Rejection is protection and redirection. Rejection is protection. Somebody rejects you, they're protecting you from them.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
That's right. As cute and sweet as I am and you running away from me, thank you. Because I know I'm worth it. You don't see it? Back.
Yeah.
Free that space up for somebody that'll recognize me. I ain't running after you. You crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm crazy, I'm going, call me, please.
Oh yeah.
I know you hate me and you never tell me you love me. It's like, my God, that person is giving me exactly what I want. Punishment. So I shouldn't forgive them. I should thank them for giving me for what I'm really asking for, because I'm the one chasing.
That's right.
Oh, no one in my classes don't grow that much. Been teaching 16 years, had the same amount of people come to class. If I judge myself by how many people showed up, I'd quit. Really, that was how I gained success after teaching in this one location for 16 years. I would go, oh, I must not be very valuable as a teacher at all. I'm not seeing more and more and more and more numbers. So success is not judged by the ego's values. I can't judge my success by the way an ego would, which is numbers.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
You know, I have to use a whole different criteria, and I would be motivated to stand up in front of you.
Right.
Because most of the people I see, I never see again. Most people come to my class, I never see them again. I don't care how much they say they like my class.
Wow.
They can say the best thing that ever happened to me. I'm so glad to meet you, black man. I never see them again. You know what I'm saying? But I'm sustained by the love of God, so I believe that the universe is going to provide for me as long as I'm fulfilling my function in the world, and I've got to learn how to let people come and go in my life. This is my year of release. This is my year of not chasing after anything, anybody, in any way. I'm going to see who's attracted to me, who is drawn to me, who is sent to me. Ain't chasing nothing. Ain't chasing nothing. Nothing. Period. Zero. Zilch. I'm letting go. I'm letting go. I'm undoing. I'm letting go. That's what this year is about. It's a lot easier to undo than to do. So the Course in Miracles turns around, and then it tells us, if you're so unwilling to receive that you can't even let your question go, so begin to change your mind, begin to change your mind, begin to change your mind by telling yourself, at least I can decide I don't like what I feel now.
Yeah.
At least I can decide I don't like the way I feel right now. I got to make some kind of decision. I'm insisting on making some kind of decision. So the decision I'm going to make is I don't like the way I feel right now. That's obvious, because you don't like the way you feel right now. So that paves the way for the next easiest step. What's the next easiest step? Since I've decided I don't like the way I feel, I have decided I don't like the way I feel, what could be easier than to continue with, since I don't like the way I feel, and so I hope I have been wrong? Okay, at least I can decide I don't like the way I feel about my mama, and I hope that I'm wrong. At least I can decide I don't like the way I feel about this situation, so I hope that I'm wrong. At least I can decide, if I'm going, I got to decide something. I just got to. That's just the way I am. I just got to decide something. So he says, well, decide you don't like the way you feel. If you don't like the way you feel. And then it goes, but here's the kicker. Come back and say, and so I hope I'm wrong. You don't want to be right about being miserable. And so when you say, whenever you say you hope you are wrong, that works against the sense of opposition. It reminds you, when you say I hope I'm wrong, it reminds you that help isn't being forced on you. It reminds you that help is something that you want. That help is something that you need because you don't like the way you feel. That's a tiny opening. Saying I don't like the way I feel, that's a tiny opening to let yourself be helped. That's enough to let you be helped by Spirit giving you just a few more steps that you need to let yourself be helped. This book is teaching us how to let ourselves be helped. This book is saying we don't even allow ourselves to be helped by God. That we don't allow ourselves to have the universe support us. So we're coming to a class to learn how to let yourself be helped. It's like you're in a burning building and they got to give you a class in how to let the firemen get you out of the building. I'm in a burning building, but I'm not going to leave until you teach me how to leave the burning building. So we're being taught how to let God help us. We're being taught how to let the universe help us. He says, now you've reached the turning point. What's the turning point? Well, it's actually occurred to me that I would benefit if what I've decided isn't true. That's the turning point. I believe I would benefit if the way I've decided it should be isn't true. I'm at the turning point if I hope I'm wrong when I don't like the way I feel. That's the turning point. Now, until you reach the turning point of hoping that you are wrong, you're going to think your happiness depends on being right. So this much reason have you attained. You'd be better off if you were wrong. You'd be better off if you were wrong. If you have relationships that never work, you'd be better off if you were wrong about everything you believe about relationships. If you have a financial situation, a prosperity situation that's horrible, you would be better off if you were wrong about everything you thought about your financial situation.
Yeah, sure.
If it's something you don't like, be willing to say, I hope I'm wrong, so that you can reach the turning point. He says this is a tiny grain of wisdom. It's so cool. We're up to a tiny grain of wisdom. Spirit is bragging about us. Yeah. Hey, baby, I got a tiny grain of wisdom. Right? He says, now you are not coerced. Now you hope to get the thing that you want. Now you can say in perfect honesty, what? I want another way to look at this.
Please.
Right. Now you change your mind. What do you mean? Well, when you change your mind, it only means I want another way to look at it. When you say I need to change my mind about my mate, I just want to change, I want another way of looking at my mate. I want to change my mind about my job. I want another way to look at my job. Changing your mind is merely asking for another way to look at it. Because you remembered what you really want. So I want another way to look at it. I don't want to be right. I want to be happy. Now, here is the trick. He says, now the purpose has no longer been hidden by the insane belief that you want the day for being right when you're wrong. Most people get up in the morning and their goal is to be right all day, even if they're wrong as hell. I want to be right more than I want to be happy. So even when I'm wrong, I want to be right. And so the Course in Miracles says that you have now reached a turning point because now you finally realize you'd be better off if you were wrong about everything in your life that you're unhappy about. And now you have a readiness for asking brought to your awareness. And you can't be in conflict when you're asking for what you want and know that you are asking for what you want. I'll say it again. You can't be in conflict when you're asking for what you want and you know you're asking for what you want. So if a person is in conflict, then they're not asking for what they want and know that they're asking for what they want. They're asking for what they want and not so sure they want it. That's the person in conflict. I want a relationship, but I'm not so sure I want it. I want peace, but I'm not so sure I want it. I want prosperity, but I'm not so sure how I want it. So you can never be in conflict when you're asking for what you want and you know that's what you're asking for. So the last step is just an acknowledgement that you have a lack of opposition to being helped. Earl Purdy, universe, I am not in opposition to being helped. Help me. Help me, universe. Help me, universe. I am willing for you to help me. Spirit, I'm willing for you to help me. I don't want to be right more than I want to be happy. I'm willing to admit I don't really know what my own best interests are. I really want another way to look at it. Overrule me if I'm asking for something that is not for my own best interest, because I don't always know what my own best interest is. So what is an open mind? An open mind is a mind that is in doubt, not certain yet, but willing to be shown. So what is an open-minded person? It's a person who really is not 100% sure, but they're willing to be shown. If you're willing to be shown, even though you're not 100% sure, you have an open mind. So this is what you say when you're willing to be shown. Perhaps there's another way to look at this. What can I lose by asking? Perhaps there's another way to look at this. What can I lose by asking? Perhaps there's another way to look at this. Perhaps there's another way to look at this situation. What can I lose by asking? And now you can ask a question that makes sense. And so the answer is going to make sense. And you're not going to fight against the answer. Why would you not fight against an answer? Because you see, you're going to be the one that's going to be helped by the answer. If you're going to do something to help me, and I see you doing something to help me, I'm not going to fight you. So as soon as you realize that the truth will help you, that'll be the end of all your resistance to the truth. That'll be the end of not studying, not reading, and not doing the things that'll change your mind. The Course says the reason why we don't do it is because we don't think it's going to work. Because we've already made up our mind that the answer is something or somebody else changing instead of us. So any truth answer is going to always be an answer that says your happiness comes from you. And people don't want to hear that.
That's right.
So let's review right quick. It must be clear that it's easier to have a happy day if you prevent unhappiness from entering the day at all. Keeping the day from having any unhappiness in it takes practice. In what? The rules that will protect you from the ravages of fear, which I just described. In case you're saying, well, what is that? Go listen to the class. It's the whole class. It's everything I've just said from the book. I'm a messenger. I don't write the message I deliver, nor do I determine who's supposed to receive it. But a messenger of God has one rule that's different from a messenger in the world. I have to accept this for myself first. You see what I'm saying? So everything I'm telling you, I have to accept it for myself first to be a good messenger. But I didn't write this message, so I don't take it personal as far as how you react to what I'm saying, because I didn't write it.
Right.
Take it up with the author. Right? So the Course in Miracles then says, when you achieve this, when you start to use the rules, say, at least I don't like the way I feel right now, so I hope that I'm wrong. Perhaps there's another way to look at this. What can I lose by asking for another way to look at this? This is what I really want, but I won't make any decisions by myself. I have to be careful that I haven't already made up in my own mind what the answer should be, so that when God does give me the answer and love does give me the answer, then I'll be fighting it because it's not what I thought the answer should be, which means I don't really want what I'm asking for. Then I forgot the question, which is to ask, where do you want me to go? What do you want me to do? Where do you want me to go? What do you want me to say? Who do you want me to say it to? And I'm going to stop and ask my higher power, what do you want me to do? And if I don't stop to do that, then I know I've already made up my own mind about how I think things should go, which means that I am following my own guidance and I'm making decisions by myself without the universe and without God. And that's why it looks like I'm not getting what I want. So the Course in Miracles says, you need practice in the rules for the undoing of your judgment. So let's consider once again the very first of the decisions offered here. You begin a half a day with a decision to make no decisions by yourself. Making no decisions by yourself seems like that's a real decision, but you can't make decisions by yourself. There's no such thing as you actually making decisions by yourself. The only question is, who are you going to make the decisions with? You can't make any decision by yourself. Either making decisions with the old way you've learned to think, or you're making decisions with the new way you're learning to think. You don't make any decisions by yourself. So the Course says then, the first rule that you can't make any decisions by yourself is not coercion. It's a simple statement of a simple fact. You won't make any decisions by yourself no matter what you decide. So you make your decisions either with love or with fear. You make your decisions either with idols or with Christ. You make your decisions with the help of what the Course calls Antichrist, which is the fear in you, or the Christ, which is the love in you. And whichever one of those voices you listen to is going to tell you what to do. It's like when I was growing up, you had these cartoons with the devil on one shoulder and the angel on the other, whispering in the person's ear. That's all the Course is saying. You got two voices, and all day long, you're listening to one or the other. The voice of truth or the voice of illusion. The voice of truth or the voice, and that's what creates your moods. Your moods are coming from constantly changing which voice you're going to listen to. Today, you're having a great day. That's because today I'm listening to the voice of love and truth. Today is a crappy day. I'm listening to every thought that's not true about myself. That's why my days change every day. Not because of what's happening out there, but the voice I'm listening to on my own shoulder that's inside my own mind. So your day is not at random.
That's right.
Your day is set by whose voice you choose to listen to. Your day is chosen by the friend whose counsel that you sought that's going to give you your happiness. You always ask advice before you decide on anything, actually. Sounds kind of contradictory to come full circle and go, well, the truth is, you really do turn to the voice that you believe in before you do anything. So let this be understood, and you will see there's no reason to think you're being coerced. There's no reason for opposition that you may be free. There is no freedom for what has to happen. And what has to happen is you have to make a decision and choices with either one voice or the other voice within you. And if you think that there's freedom from what must happen, you're wrong. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So, what I'm going to do right here, now remember, you and your advisor must agree before what you want can happen. So, why is it that it looks like the negative, fearful things happen quicker than the things that we think we love and would want to have happen? Isn't that a good question? Why does it look like the stuff that doesn't make you happy seems to happen more than the stuff that does make you happy? Well, he says, well, because when the voice of love and truth tell you that you deserve love, that you're an unlimited being, that you're powerful, that you're infinite, you go, But the voice that says, you know, you suck, things don't go right for you, people project on you, you're not being treated fair. We go, okay, bam, it manifests. It manifests because we go into agreement with the fear voice, but we doubt the voice of love and the voice for truth. And so we're not agreeing with it, so it doesn't appear to happen in our perception. So all day long, you are experiencing the physical result of the counsel you are receiving from the voice you are listening to, which is the voice you are telling yourself. And that's where happiness and unhappiness comes from. So I'm going to tell you again, at least you can just tell yourself what you want to happen, and then tell yourself if you make no decisions by yourself, then this is the day you can have. Then tell yourself, if it looks like something is happening to you today that you didn't want to happen, you must have made a decision without God. Then decide that you can at least say, I don't like the way that I feel. I can decide that. And then you say, and so I hope I have been wrong. Whoa. So I hope I have been wrong. So I hope that I have been wrong. So then you say, perhaps there's another way to look at this. Perhaps there's another way to look at this. What can I lose by asking? I want another way to look at this. Perhaps there's another way to look at this. What can I lose by asking for another way to look at this? Then people go, well, what would be the other way of looking at it? It's called A Course in Miracles. Or whatever the truth book is that you are attracted to. That would be the other way of looking at it. But I have to open the freaking book up, and I have to study the book, and I have to actually remember what it's telling me. It's not going to happen by me making it up as I go along. Thank you so much. Would you acknowledge yourself in here with this much Holy Spirit? I know it's intense. So I'm going to repeat just that little thing at the end one more time. And we have Paris is going to come up and close everything with a song that she's going to sing for us, bringing in the new year. That would kind of give us a good music thing. It's a little live. We're going to do it live. So let's do the financial expression of appreciation. Thank you so much. I'm a full-time teacher of A Course in Miracles. And so thank you for seeing value in what comes through me and sharing with me. Also, I'm available for one-on-one sessions called clarity sessions. The purpose of a clarity session is to give you clarity about what you think you're going through right now that's keeping you from being happy. And then I use everything that I've studied and worked with the people for 30 years to bring to your situation to give you another way of looking at it so it can be unblocked. And if you're open to it, I also use my knowledge of astrology and numerology. And astrology and numerology is just another way for the universe to communicate a message to us. Everything in the world is used by spirit to communicate with us. You only have one problem, it's already been solved. You only have one problem, it's already been solved. You only have one problem according to Course, and it's already been solved. So, would you like to see the solution? Okay, then stop trying to think it up. Stop trying to think, stop acting like the universe cannot help you or guide you or give you advice because you're grown. You're an adult. And so therefore, I think I already know. How do you know you don't know? If you're full of anger, fear, doubt, and uncertainty, that's how you know there's something that you're not recognizing that you need to recognize. It's not rocket science. If you're miserable, you're misperceiving something. Which means going to your own ego mind for answers is not working, or you would be happy by now. So you need to resign as your own teacher and turn to your inner teacher. You need to go right into the office of your mind and put your resignation in. And go, hey, I resign as my own teacher. I want my higher self to now teach me and guide me. I want spirit, God, truth to guide me. And I don't know what that is. So I'm going to take the time to commit myself in this new year to my spiritual path in a really devoted, consistent way. Not like a little hobby. Like, oh, I don't have nothing else to do today, so I just think I'll go to Earl's class. That's not commitment and dedication. Commitment and dedication means you're willing to make an investment, and you're willing to give something attention, and you're willing to give it study, and you're willing to recognize you don't know, and you're willing to turn to your own higher power. If you'll notice, it's funny. Somebody made a comment one time when I was teaching about, I had to say, you're trying to get them to drink the Kool-Aid. In other words, they were implying that I was like this cult leader. And I'm saying, well, I'm the worst cult leader in the world if I'm telling you you're free and you need to follow your own heart. That the power is within you and you need to get in touch with your own relationship with God. No cult leader is saying that. They're not telling you go within your own path as individual. You have a relationship with the Creator that you need to establish. And if I'm doing this right, you'll get to the point that you don't need me anyway. And so that's how I know I'm being successful. So the fact that people come through and maybe never come back, and some do, just means they got what they needed to receive from me, and they're going to the next thing that they need to receive. Now, how do I know that's the right way to look at it? It feels better. It gives me peace. That's how, oh, Earl, it's all perfect. It's just perfect, just the way it is, and everybody's getting what they need, and you're getting what you need. That I go, okay, that must be the truth. Why? Because that feels right. But if I'm going, oh my God, I must not be that good at what I do because nobody's staying around and da-da-da, that's how I know I'm listening to my ego. And it's just that simple for whatever you are going through. You're not looking at it correctly if you're in a state of lack of peace. You're looking at it correctly if you're nonviolent, harmless, and looking at it with love. Boy. So what do I need? I need a curriculum that teaches me how to undo that. How do I know I'm using it? I got the result. How do I know I'm talking about using it, but I'm not using it? I'm still going through the same thing. Even though I'm telling myself the truth, it looks like I'm going through the same thing. Yeah, you're not accepting it as true. You're just telling yourself the truth right now. And that's okay. That's a stage. But you're just telling yourself the truth. You haven't accepted it as true yet. When you've accepted it as true, you see it. And that's how you know. But here's the cool part, though. The cool part is the part of you that loves you will take up the slack. So even though you may not think you deserve love, there's a part of you that knows you do, and it'll send the love to you that you deserve, even though you don't think you deserve it.
All right.
But if you don't learn how to recognize it, when it shows up, you won't see it. And it's all around you. And that's the challenge. You're being loved right now. You don't know how many friendships you turned down in the last year, or how many loving people you could have had connection with that you didn't even bother to follow up on the meeting with them. Because you didn't recognize love when it showed up.
Right.
So we're surrounded by everything we want. We just don't see it. So the veil needs to be lifted. And I'm here to lift your veil, baby. That's right. So those of you who are watching online, like it, share it, and comment, because when you do that on Facebook with the Facebook Live, it reaches more people in the audience. And on Tuesdays at 7 o'clock, I do a class called The Way of Mastery, which is awesome. And it's also live streamed. Thank you for coming out, because being able to have the physical experience of you is very helpful. I'm glad people are watching online. I love that, because people all over the world are watching. But there's also an energy we get from being in each other's physical presence. And I know it's easy to turn over the bed and go, I'm not going to go out today because I know I can just watch it on the computer. And that's fine. All right? But also, I appreciate it when you actually physically come. So to me, you're innocent when you stay at home, and you're innocent when you come.
Thank you.
Why? Because that's what I want to feel. So don't be saying nothing to me if I do the same thing. Okay? And that's the way it works. That's the way it works. Miss Parrish, would you come up? And would y'all mind taking about 3 minutes to 4 minutes to let her share with us before you go out for the new year?
Yay! Thank you.
You are welcome.
Okay, we're moving this.
Oh, you want that?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
This will be easier.
Hey, Paris.
Happy New Year to us!
Happy New Year.
Would y'all like to see her just really go off and give you the best performance that she can do?
Yeah!
Show her a lot of appreciation. That's the key to Leo.
Oh yeah. Okay, so this is a song that I wrote, yeah, I think I'll do this. And that I just felt really inspired to share on this new beginning that we are embarking upon with these tools that we are embodying. So you can close your eyes, you can sort of sing along if you feel called, whatever jam we want to do. It's like the light lines, they're making a comeback after a very fierce hailstorm. The tigress, she opens her eyes to see past the norm. Thunder touches the trees to join in this song. A black cat crosses my path as old belief perched from a blue jay's nest. Kalima has lent me her sword to cut through the bullshit. Mountain spirits are telling me to use it wisely. A sharp blade pierces the air and cuts through stagnation. We all rise to let it go. For the holiest in the highest, above, below, within. For the holiest, in the highest, here everybody wins. Today it's a blue, blue sky. We've felt all the tears we've cried. It's from here we choose to shine. Living from the inside out. For the holiest in the highest, no south, east, and west. For the holiest, in the highest, flying from a blue jay's nest.
Let's give it to her one more time. I wanna know what you look at this. I wanna know mighty companions. Mighty companions, you're going out into a brand new year. Don't make any decisions by yourself. Admit that you don't like the way you see things and hope you're wrong and want another way to look at it. Thank you for coming. I think is Sheila out there? She's still here? Yeah. The minister of the church wants to make a quick announcement to everybody before we go out. She's been such a blessing to us in so many ways. Sheila is awesome. Let's give it to Sheila. She's an incredible, wonderful, beautiful being.
Okay, I didn't have an announcement.
Oh,
I
you
just
did?
wanted to listen to you.
Oh, that's it?
But I'll make some now.
Excuse me, let me get
And
right
Paris,
on
that
here.
was excellent. Thank you. Paris is going to be singing for us on a Sunday morning very soon. I introduced her to our music director this morning. So yay, Paris!